The Joe Rogan Experience.
All he's doing is playing some really crazy game that was around before he was ever born. He just got into it and got really good at it. The game itself is bananas. Just the stock market itself. Just the idea that the wealth of a person can vary day by day because of confidence. You know, confidence, consumer confidence in a product can like shift and change with recall. And then you watching these numbers go up and down, like, what the fuck are you even talking about?
Most of the explanations you see, you know, I watch these business sites and the market will go down and they say, oh, market down because of such and such in London. And then it's like by the time that piece comes out, that market's actually back up and they're already constructing their, you know, let's tie market going back up to another random feature. You know, it's like the explanations after the fact have so little to do, you know, with whatever some algorithm decided it was going to suddenly ultra fast trade something and throw the stock up. You know, it's like at this point, it truly is. That's the best place to see humans combating machines is on the market, where it's like there's human traders competing with these programmed algorithms, and the algorithms are certainly winning the war.
And if you look at their screens while they're doing it, it is almost like code. Like the average person who doesn't understand it doesn't know what the fuck the stock market's saying, the symbols and the SAO and this and that and the ones and the zeros. You look at all that, you have no idea what that is. I mean, how is that really different than a computer code that you're reading? I mean, that's essentially like a way that people are tapping into this bizarre system.
I mean, it was at one time the price of something had to do with something.
Right.
It's like there's a factory. Oh, if the factory went slower today in the rain, the market will go down on that side. It was like real, you know, and I feel like it's gotten certainly further and further from whatever is going on in that company or the earnings or the things. You know, it's absolutely abstracted to the point now where people don't even invest in companies. Right. You invest in something like when Facebook went public, people bought it at like 9 in the morning and like 9:10, they're all pissed off that it hasn't gone up. It's like, wait a minute, I was supposed to. You know, I thought
triple my wealth.
Triple my wealth. It's like, no, you don't make money on the trade. You're supposed to make money on when you've done it. But, you know, now we've got, derivatives and derivatives of derivatives and derivatives of derivatives of derivatives on there, which is just a way of kind of shrinking the
Explain that for people who don't know what that means.
So if you buy a stock, I mean, you know, you buy a stock and you hope it goes up and then you sell it in the future. If you'd rather make up that time right now, I can sell it in the future right now. Right? I can basically sell that future sale because I think that sale is going to be a good one now. Right? I can say, what if I did that trade? I'm going to have it now. But so what am I trading then? I'm trading on an abstraction from what something's going to be worth at some moment in the future. So it's like I'm trading on the stock over time. And then someone else can say, well, I'm going to trade on the abstraction of that. I'm going to trade on whether or not people think the stock in the future is going to be worth more next minute than this minute. It's like, well, what's that? So basically what you're doing is you're buying the stock over time, over time, over time, over time. You're creating these things, these derivatives of whatever the original investment was, which is kind of just a derivative of the thing. Right? There's the pork belly, there's the derivative of the pork belly, derivatives of the derivatives, derivatives of the derivatives of the derivatives of the derivatives. All ever tighter ways of saying what is pork belly going to be worth, you know, on February 3rd.
Why is that legal?
Well, it's legal because because the economy requires it, right? We have a kind of money, right, that has a clock in it. It's lent into existence and has to be paid back more than got lent out. So our economy needs to expand by hook or by crook somehow. It has to grow in order for it to survive. That's just the way central currency works. They need to find more surface area for the money, more ways for people to buy stuff. So instead of just there's not enough of a company to buy, so now we can bet on how that company's going to do in some future. Now we can bet on that, or we can bet on that. Right? But what we're really doing is trying to kind of compress all of this time right onto like the head of a pin so we can bet on that. So I don't have to sit and wait, 3,000 years for Facebook to be worth something. I can trade on its future worth now. But the whole joke of that is people who are trading that way, there are these computers that are trading faster than them. So I put in one of my super fast, crazy, derivative trade. Goldman Sachs sees that order coming in on the computer. They're so close to the exchange, they can execute an order before my order even goes through based on having seen that I was going to do what I'm going to do. So they can literally trade in my future. Right?
Wow.
I am in their past. No, that's digital time shifting.
That sounds like they're
it's freaky.
cheating. That's like someone like running a Quake server and they're local, and then you have like 150 ping.
Exactly.
That's bullshit.
I think so.
Total bullshit.
But the irony of it is it's gotten so big, right? Derivative trading is bigger than regular trading now.
Oh, my God.
So that the New York Stock Exchange actually just got bought. The exchange itself got bought by its derivative exchange.
Oh,
so it's
God.
Almost just like the proof's in the pudding. It's like the derivative owns the market at this point. But that's when you get one
how did
step
anybody
removed.
allow that? How could the government even ever deny how incompetent they are when they allowed that? Like that alone, to like someone should just like have a broadcast on national television, one of those town hall sort of events where you sit down with the main people that run the country and go, how the fuck are you allowing this? How have you not fixed this?
Well,
why would you ever try to do anything else before you fix this?
When they made the decision, they genuinely thought it would be good for business.
But it doesn't. It's
At least in the short term.
I will never understand where it all goes.
The business people promised them they'd figure it out before it got really bad.
Oh my God, we figured it out before it got really bad. How much bigger is the derivative economy?
I don't know exactly. I mean, it seemed I was trying to find out what the sort of trading was. It seemed, from what I could tell, like that 94% of trades are now derivative because they're in because they're such bigger volumes.
Oh my God, that's insane.
No one's you're not gonna buy 10,000 shares of Honeywell today because that's whatever $60,000 or something. But you could buy like 10,000 futures on Honeywell because they're really cheap.
Oh my God, that is so crazy.
So
94% of the of trades are
we can look
futures.
at
I'm scared.
And how many more? I think it's ultra fast too. Is a whole other. They're sort of two different realms. But yeah, it's huge.
They must all be crazy. Everyone involved in that must know that they're bringing on the Matrix. They must know that they're the first steps before the digital machine takes over. They must know. They must know that there's no humanity in that stock market shit. That's chaos.
Well, the thing is, and again, I don't want digital technology to get blamed for this, right? Because the real operating system they're promoting is not the digital operating system, it's the economic operating system underneath it. It's this 13th century central currency, interest-bearing, debt-based economy. And none of the guys who I thought would get us out, Ev Williams with Twitter, Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook, the kids from Google, right? Each of them had a real shot, even Bill Gates, at breaking the central economy and flipping things the other way.
How do you think they could do that?
Not going public, not doing it with venture capital. Saying, if Google can hack web search, if Facebook can hack social, if Twitter can hack everybody, why can't they? If they're so busy disintermediating all these different things, why doesn't any one of them yet want to disintermediate central banking and say, no, Mr. Chase, we don't actually need you. We're going to do our whole thing through Kickstarter, say. Like one of your things?
Yeah. That's an interesting point of view. I think they probably would never want to take that stand because they would be killed. I would imagine there's a lot of money in them not being successful with that quest. To ensure that they remain in control.
Is there a point at which, you're doing PayPal? Okay, right. We're going to let people do individual transactions. That was their original model, and they were going to make money on the float. And then the banks came to them and said, "Oh, you're not allowed to do that. You're not a bank, PayPal kids. You got to be, registered as a bank, or you're going to have to be connected to one of us." And that's when, PayPal kind of becomes part of eBay rather than whatever these crazy guys might have done. And I suppose there's this point, where, innocently these companies, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, hoping to do the right things. And then it's like, we're not going to let you do this if you don't play by our rules. But, I also feel like there's companies that if you're willing to go smaller, if you're willing to let it grow a little bit slower, that you can scale up. You can become
a big ethical corporation.
Yeah.
Oh, it is already? Yeah. What the fuck, son?